Hello, chosen ones. I'm so glad you're here. Before we even get started, I want you to take a deep breath, lean in, and really let this land in your spirit. What if everything you've been fighting for, everything you've been praying for, every single thing you've been working towards is already yours? What if the universe, God, the divine, or whatever you call that higher power, has already declared you the victor? Sounds a little wild, right? Especially when you look around and all you see are the bumps, the setbacks, and the not yets. You see the mountain you're still climbing, the desert you're still crossing, and the giants you're still facing. You're probably sitting there thinking, in video AI, I appreciate the optimism, but my bank account says otherwise, my relationship status says otherwise, my job situation says otherwise. I get it, I really do. There's a story I think about sometimes, a bit of a humorous one actually. I knew this one, chosen one, and he was obsessed with winning a local lottery. Not a big one, just one of those scratch-off tickets with a $500 prize. Every day he'd go to the same gas station, buy the same kind of ticket and scratch it with this intense, almost aggressive focus. He'd meticulously check every number and every symbol, and every time it would come up empty. He'd sigh, crumble the ticket, and the next day the cycle would repeat. It was like his morning ritual. One day he went to a different store and the clerk handed him a ticket. As he was leaving, he slipped it into his pocket, thinking he'd scratch it later. He went about his day, completely forgetting about it. He went to work, had a great lunch, and even laughed a little bit. That night, he was emptying his pockets and the ticket fell out. With a shrug, he decided to scratch it, and you guessed it, it was a winner. The $500 prize he had been so desperately chasing, the one that had consumed his focus and energy for weeks, was sitting in his pocket the entire time he was focused on everything else. He was a winner, and he didn't even know it. Doesn't that sound just like us sometimes? We're so busy looking for the win, so focused on the struggle, that we don't realize the victory is already ours. We're holding the winning ticket, but we're still looking for the game to start. Today I want to talk about what it truly means to be a chosen one in this light. I want to shift your perspective from being a fighter to being a victor. I want you to understand that your spiritual journey isn't just about the battle. It's about the divine declaration that you have already won. We're not fighting for victory, we're fighting from victory. The very fact that you're still standing, still breathing, still seeking is proof that something or someone bigger than you has already declared you worthy, already declared you blessed, and already declared you a winner. This isn't just a feel-good video, this is a spiritual wake-up call. So please, stick with me until the very end because your spirit needs to hear this. Let's dive deep into these 7 profound points that will hopefully shake you awake and remind you that it's already yours. Point 1, your spiritual struggle is just a story about your victory. Chosen one, let's be real. Every epic story worth telling is built on a mountain of challenges. Think about it. Frodo didn't just stroll into Mordor, Luke Skywalker didn't wake up one day already having defeated Darth Vader, and Moses didn't lead the Israelites without facing the Red Sea. There's always a struggle, a battle, a wilderness season. Why? Because without tension, there's no transformation. Without the dark night, there's no sunrise. And here's the twist. Your life works exactly the same way. Every heartbreak, financial crisis, health scare, betrayal, and lonely night you've endured has been less about punishing you and more about shaping you. You are not being buried, you are being planted. And seeds, chosen ones, sprout only after they've been pushed into the dark. What most people misunderstand is that the struggle is not the end goal, it's the setup. If your life were a movie, this would be the intense moment when the music swells, your back's against the wall, and everyone watching is gripping their seats because they know you're about to rise. It's the same reason every culture's mythology includes trials. Hercules had his labors, Odysseus had his long voyage, and David faced Goliath. The obstacle is never random. It's the divine proving ground where your dormant strengths get activated. And just like in those stories, the outcome has already been written. God, the universe, whatever you call the author, already knows you're victorious. This isn't a test to find out if you're strong enough. It's a stage to show the strength you already carry. Let's talk science for a second. Diamonds are made under extreme pressure. Muscles grow by being torn and rebuilt. Trees develop the deepest roots when they grow in windy conditions. Nature itself is a sermon on how pressure produces power. Your struggles are simply life's resistance training, building spiritual muscle you didn't even know you had. You don't become unshakable by avoiding the storm. You become unshakable by standing in it, soaked to the skin, and still declaring, "I will not break." And I know, it's easier said than done when you're in the thick of it. When the bills are overdue, the people you trusted have turned their backs, and the light at the end of the tunnel feels like a rumor. But here's where faith kicks in. Faith is the stubborn belief that your current chapter is not your final one. It's the defiance to say, my story is still being written, even when the ink looks like it's run dry. The enemy of your soul doesn't fight you because you're weak. He fights you because you're a threat. He fights you because your breakthrough will not just bless you, it will ripple into everyone connected to you. So, chosen one, the next time you find yourself in the pit, remember, it's not a grave, it's a launching pad. Joseph in the Bible went from the pit to the palace, but the palace wouldn't have meant much without the pit. Every tear you've cried, every night you've spent wondering, why me, is being woven into a victory you can't yet imagine. The movie's not over, the music hasn't faded, and the credits haven't rolled. This is your build-up scene, your training montage, your prelude to glory. The struggle is real, but so is the triumph. And spoiler alert, you win, always have, always will, always. Point 2, the shift from striving to receiving. The world we live in glorifies the grind. It's everywhere. The motivational posters screaming rise and grind, the hustle culture influencers telling you to sleep when you're dead, and the constant societal drumbeat that if you're not exhausted, you're not doing enough. This narrative is deeply ingrained, and for most people it becomes the only way they know how to live, chasing, striving, and running endlessly after the next milestone. But here's where the chosen one walks a completely different path. See, while the world is in a perpetual sprint, the chosen one understands something far deeper, the power of receiving. This isn't laziness, this is alignment. Think about it like this. If you try to catch water with your fists clenched, it will slip through your fingers every single time. But if you open your hands, the water collects naturally. That's exactly how the energy of receiving works. When you're clenched in desperation, holding tight to fear that you might not get what you want, you actually repel it. Spiritually speaking, desperation vibrates at a frequency of lack, and lack attracts more lack. On the other hand, when you move through life with an open hand and an open heart, you align yourself with the frequency of abundance. That's when blessings start flowing toward you without force. The misconception is that receiving means doing nothing, lying on the couch, waiting for miracles to drop through the ceiling. That's not how it works. Receiving is active faith. You still take steps toward your goals, but your energy is entirely different. You're not moving out of panic, fear, or competition. You're moving from a place of knowing. And there's a big difference between working because you're afraid you'll fail and working because you know success is inevitable. The first one burns you out, the second keeps you flowing. Even quantum physics, yes, science backs this up, tells us that your energy and focus influence outcomes. The observer effect shows that the act of expectation changes reality. Spiritually, this means that when you carry yourself as if your blessings are already on their way, you're actively shaping the environment to match that belief. This is why the chosen one doesn't operate in frantic energy. They're not in a constant race with the world because they know the universe works on divine timing, not human panic. And here's the part most people miss. When you strive endlessly, you send the signal that you don't already have it, that you're lacking. But when you receive, you're embodying gratitude and abundance in the present moment. And abundance expands where it's acknowledged. It's the same reason people with an abundance mindset keep getting opportunities while others seem stuck in cycles of scarcity. The chosen one also understands that striving often comes from ego, the need to prove, to outperform, to earn worthiness. But worthiness isn't something you earn, it's something you remember. You don't have to convince the universe to bless you, you simply align yourself with it. And when you stop running after things, you often find they start running toward you. So yes, keep moving, keep building, but shift your posture. Work from a place of peace instead of panic. Take action with the assurance that what is meant for you is already yours, even if it hasn't physically shown up yet. Just like a farmer plants seeds, knowing the harvest will come, you move forward with confidence, not desperation, because the chosen one doesn't chase, they attract. They don't strive, they receive. And that shift, my friend, changes everything. Point 3, the language of the victor, not the victim. Chosen one, you need to understand this. Words aren't just sounds in the air, they are containers of power. Every sentence you speak carries energy, shaping your perception and influencing the reality you experience. Science backs this up. Psychologists have found that the language you use literally rewires your brain through a process called neuroplasticity. When you constantly say, "I'm broke," your brain begins to filter your experiences to confirm that belief. You'll subconsciously notice more bills than opportunities, more losses than wins. But when you speak life, "My finances are improving," your brain starts scanning for evidence of abundance. This isn't just wishful thinking. It's mental conditioning that primes you to notice and seize opportunities you might have overlooked before. Spiritually, this principle is ancient. Proverbs 18:21 says, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue." That means your mouth can be a weapon or a wellspring depending on how you use it. If you keep calling yourself unlucky, you're essentially writing a script for your life where you're the background character who never wins. But a victor, a true chosen one, speaks differently. They align their words with the truth God has already spoken over them: victory, abundance, protection, and purpose. When you declare, "Things are always working out for me," you're not being delusional. You're agreeing with heaven's blueprint for your life. Think of it like planting seeds. Every word you speak is a seed sown into the soil of your future. Negative words plant weeds that choke out your blessings. Positive, faith-filled words plant fruit-bearing trees that sustain you for years to come. The danger is that most people plant weeds without realizing it. They treat casual negativity like harmless conversation, but those tiny "I can't" and "I'll never" statements grow into towering obstacles that block their path. Chosen one, you can't afford to speak against your own destiny. Even in everyday life, successful people know this secret. Athletes visualize and affirm their victories before stepping into the arena. Leaders declare the vision of what will be long before it exists. They understand that the mouth sets the tone for the mind, and the mind directs the actions that build the future. As a chosen one, you're not called to speak according to your circumstances, you're called to speak according to your covenant. That's why you can be in a season of lack and still say, "I am blessed and highly favored," because you know the season will change, but your words can shape how quickly and powerfully that change comes. Here's the hard truth. Many people pray for miracles, but speak curses over themselves the moment they stand up from prayer. They'll ask God for provision, then immediately tell a friend, "I'm so broke." That's like pouring water into a bucket and then stabbing holes in the bottom. You can't ask for abundance and then verbally agree with poverty. Your mouth must partner with your prayers. Chosen one, I'm telling you this because you have a bigger assignment than most. Your words don't just affect you, they influence the people who look to you for guidance. When you speak faith in the middle of a storm, you remind others that the storm isn't the end. You prophesy hope, resilience, and victory into the atmosphere. So guard your mouth like a treasure chest. Speak what you want to see, not what you fear might happen. From now on, make it a spiritual discipline to audit your language. Replace every "I can't" with "I'm learning how." Swap "I'll never" with "It's on the way." And when life tries to corner you into speaking defeat, pause, breathe, and remember, you have the authority to create with your words. If God spoke worlds into existence and you were made in His image, imagine what your words could birth. Speak like a victor, chosen one, because the kingdom you're building starts with the sentences you choose today. Point 4, the signs are all around you. Once you start seeing yourself as the winner you truly are, something remarkable happens. The entire energy of your life begins to shift. And this isn't just some fluffy, feel-good self-help slogan. It's a blend of hard science and timeless faith working together like a perfectly choreographed dance. In psychology, there's a fascinating part of your brain called the reticular activating system, or RAS. Think of it as your mind's personal filter. Every day, your brain is bombarded with millions of pieces of information, but your RAS decides what actually gets through to your conscious awareness. When you truly deeply believe that you're a winner, your RAS goes to work like a radar, scanning your environment for anything that confirms that belief. Suddenly, opportunities you would have walked right past begin to stand out. You overhear conversations that spark fresh ideas, stumble upon resources that align perfectly with your goals, and meet people who seem almost custom designed to help you on your path. Here's the kicker. Those opportunities were there all along. The only difference is that now, your mental and spiritual antenna is tuned in. This is where the universe, or if you prefer divine providence, steps in with its breadcrumb trail. And these breadcrumbs are never random. That song that plays at the exact moment you're ready to quit, that's a gentle nudge, the stranger who says a few words that answer the very question you've been praying about. That's a wink from the divine. Even that sudden, unexplainable wave of peace in the middle of a chaos, that's a spiritual affirmation that you are exactly where you need to be. Some will call these moments coincidence, but when they happen too often with uncanny precision, you start to understand this is orchestration, not accident. Unfortunately, most people miss these signs because they are laser focused on what's missing in their lives. It's like walking through a lush forest with your gaze glued to the dirt, completely blind to the wildflowers blooming at your feet. When you obsess over what you lack, you condition your mind to notice only absence, and absence is a thief. It robs you of joy, blinds you to possibility, and strips you of the gratitude that fuels life's beauty. But when you make the conscious daily decision to see yourself as a winner, you no longer walk like someone lost. You move like someone guided. Being a chosen one means you can't afford to sleepwalk through life. Your spiritual senses must be awake and sharp. This goes far beyond positive thinking. It's a discipline, a commitment to paying attention to the subtle cues, the shifts in the atmosphere, and the quiet alignments that the untrained soul dismisses. Sometimes the universe doesn't shout, it whispers. And if your mind is too noisy with doubt and fear, you won't hear it. Here's where it gets even more intriguing. Once you start acknowledging these signs, they begin to multiply. Gratitude has a strange magnetic pull. In neuroscience, focusing on the positive strengthens neural pathways that make it easier to see more good in the future. In spirituality, it's believed that appreciating what you have creates more room for blessings to flow. The universe, or God, responds almost as if saying, "Oh, you noticed, here's more." The cycle feeds itself. The more you recognize the good, the more good there is to recognize. This is why walking in the mindset of a winner is not arrogance, it's alignment. You're stepping into the role you were designed for. You're speaking victory before it happens because you know in both heart and mind that it's already yours. You carry yourself with confidence, not because everything is perfect, but because you understand that everything is purposeful. Every meeting, every delay, every challenge is part of a larger tapestry you can't fully see yet, but you trust the artist. So, chosen one, carry yourself as if you've already been crowned. Smile at the little miracles that others overlook. Speak as though your victory is inevitable, because in the grand scheme, it is. The moment you start to see yourself as the winner you are, the world begins to respond to you differently. Opportunities seem to appear out of nowhere, but they're not out of nowhere. They've been waiting for you to notice. The proof will be everywhere. You just have to keep your eyes and your faith wide open. Point 5. The divine GPS. Trusting the detours. Have you ever been cruising through life, confident in your plans and certain about the road ahead, only for the divine GPS to suddenly recalculate your route? 1 minute you're on the highway of your dreams, and the next, life's navigation system is telling you to take an unexpected exit toward a road you've never heard of. At first, it feels frustrating, almost personal, like the universe is deliberately slowing you down and throwing you into detours you didn't sign up for. But just like a real GPS, the divine rerouting isn't random. Your navigation app has access to traffic patterns, accidents, and road closures you can't see from your driver's seat. In the same way, God, or the higher intelligence that guides you, has access to information beyond your current understanding. While you may be focused on getting there as quickly as possible, the divine is focused on ensuring you arrive not only at the right destination, but also at the right time, in the right way, and in the right condition to receive what's waiting for you. Think back to a time when you ignored your GPS because you thought you knew a better shortcut. More often than not, you ended up stuck in traffic, crawling forward with regret, wishing you had listened. Life is no different. That promotion you thought you lost? It may have been a career traffic jam up ahead where your potential would have been blocked. That sudden breakup you didn't see coming? It may have been clearing the lane for a relationship better aligned with your destiny. Every closed door can be a divine "not this way" rather than a final rejection. It's often protection disguised as disappointment. Interestingly, science offers a parallel through the concept of bounded rationality in cognitive psychology. This is the idea that human decision-making is always limited by the information available to us. You can't plan for what you don't know. Unseen events, other people's choices, and future circumstances are invisible from your current vantage point, but the divine sees the entire landscape in real time. Where you see a single stretch of road ahead, the divine sees the entire city, every accident, detour, and shortcut you're unaware of. That's why spiritual trust is so essential. It's not blind faith, it's faith in a perspective much wider than your own. If you've been walking the path of a chosen one, you've probably noticed your detours often come with signs. It might be an uneasy gut feeling, even when everything looks perfect on paper. It could be recurring numbers like 111 or 444 showing up everywhere, unexpected encounters with people who change your perspective, or a sudden pull to pivot in a new direction. These aren't coincidences, they're signals from your spiritual navigation system, redirecting you before you hit unseen traffic ahead. And yes, the detours can be uncomfortable. They might require you to pack up and move to a new city, leave behind a steady job, or walk away from relationships you thought would last forever. But chosen ones don't simply take detours, they evolve during them, gaining strength, wisdom, and resilience that they couldn't have developed on the straight path. The truth is, divine detours aren't just about getting you to your destination, they're about preparing you for it. Arriving too early can be just as dangerous as arriving too late. If your breakthrough comes before your character is ready to sustain it, what should have been a blessing could collapse under the weight of unpreparedness. It's like your GPS refusing to route you onto a bridge that hasn't been completed yet. You might be eager to cross, but the delay is saving you from a disaster midway. The reroute is part of the build-up, ensuring the foundation is solid before you step into your promise. So the next time life pushes you onto an unexpected road, resist the urge to panic. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "What is this preparing me for? What might it be protecting me from?" That shift in mindset changes everything. Chosen ones don't fear reroutes, they trust them, because they know alignment matters more than speed. The divine is never just guiding you, it's shaping you into the person who will not only reach the destination, but also thrive when you get there. And when you finally arrive, the timing will be flawless, the path will make sense, and you'll realize the delay was never a delay at all. That winding back road, it was actually the fastest route to becoming exactly who you were meant to be. Point 6. The gratitude that activates your winning season. Gratitude, chosen one, is far more than a polite "thank you" tossed into conversation. It is one of the most transformative forces you can wield in your spiritual journey. Imagine your life as a vast radio network where your thoughts and emotions determine which station you're tuned into. When you dwell in bitterness, resentment, envy, or self-pity, it's like being stuck on a station full of static. You can't hear the music, only the noise, and that low vibration tends to draw in more negativity. But when you genuinely practice gratitude, something remarkable happens. You shift frequencies. You tune into a station with crystal clarity where blessings, opportunities, and divine guidance flow freely. This isn't just poetic imagery. Modern neuroscience confirms it. Studies in positive psychology reveal that gratitude activates regions in the brain associated with reward and motivation, increasing serotonin, which stabilizes mood, and dopamine, which drives motivation and pleasure. Over time, regularly practicing gratitude can even rewire your brain's neural pathways, making positivity and hope your default setting. In other words, gratitude doesn't just change how you feel. It transforms your biology, your mental outlook, and the reality you experience. The secret many overlook is that gratitude is not a passive feeling that appears only when life is smooth. It is an active stance, a deliberate act of recognition. True gratitude is like making a declaration to God, the universe, and your own spirit. I see the blessings I already have, and I am ready for more. When you wake up and notice the warmth of sunlight on your face, the hum of life outside your window, and the comfort of knowing you survived yesterday's battles, you are sending a message that you are aware, appreciative, and ready to receive. This awareness has a strange but undeniable effect. Doors start opening. Phone calls you didn't expect bring good news. Seemingly random encounters lead to breakthroughs. What others call luck is often just the magnetic pull of a grateful spirit attracting more to be grateful for. Of course, let's be honest, it's easy to be thankful when life is comfortable, but the real test of a chosen one spirit is gratitude in the valley, not just on the mountaintop. Betrayal, heartbreak, financial struggles, or health challenges can make gratitude feel unnatural, even impossible, and yet that is when it carries the most power. Practicing gratitude in hardship is like planting seeds in frozen ground. It takes time, patience, and faith to believe that the soil will yield anything at all. But history, scripture, and spiritual wisdom agree. Those seeds are the ones that produce the most abundant harvest. The Bible tells us to give thanks in all circumstances, 1 Thessalonians 5:18. Not because every situation is good, but because even in pain, something is being shaped in you that will serve your future. Ancient Stoic philosophers taught a similar lesson. Focus on what you can appreciate rather than lament what is beyond your control. Buddhists too see gratitude as the path to enlightenment because it shifts the mind from craving to contentment. Gratitude in every tradition is the root of spiritual strength. What's more, gratitude is contagious. You felt it before, being in the presence of someone who radiates appreciation without speaking a word. Such people don't project desperation for more, they emanate contentment. And ironically, that's exactly why more blessings seem to follow them. Their gratitude is a quiet gravitational force, pulling good things into their orbit. This is why, when you embody gratitude, you don't just change your own life, you alter the atmosphere for everyone around you. So, chosen one, the next time your mind starts drifting toward what's missing, pause. Anchor yourself in the present moment and search for one thing, just one, that you can sincerely thank God for. Maybe it's your breath, steady and faithful. Maybe it's your resilience, the proof that you've survived every single one of your worst days. Speak it out loud. Feel it in your bones. Because every genuine thank you is like a master key, and the more you collect, the more you'll find that the locks on your blessings begin to click open. Eventually, you'll realize something profound. The door to your abundance was never truly locked at all. It was waiting for you to change the frequency. Point 7, it's already yours, chosen one. Here's the truth. They don't tell you in motivational speeches. This isn't just feel-good talk. It's a spiritual principle baked into the fabric of creation. When I say, whatever you did, it worked. You won. It's already yours. I'm not speaking in metaphors. I'm talking about the universal law of cause and effect. What ancient wisdom calls you reap what you sow. The prayers you whispered when nobody was listening, the quiet sacrifices, the late nights wrestling with doubt, the moments you chose faith over fear, none of that was wasted energy. In the unseen, things have already shifted in your favor. You've been making deposits into a spiritual account. And now the interest has been compounding. Even if you can't see the balance yet, trust me, it's overflowing. This is where many people get tripped up. They think manifestation is about asking once and then waiting nervously like someone tracking a package. But spiritual law doesn't work on human anxiety. It works on divine timing. Just like a seed in the soil, growth happens out of sight first. You don't stare at the dirt every day, doubting whether anything is happening. You water it, you protect it, and you trust the process. That's what your journey has been, chosen one. Every test, every season of silence, every time you didn't retaliate but chose peace. You've been cultivating something powerful beneath the surface, and now the harvest is here. Not coming, here. The thing about harvests, though, is that they still require you to show up. Farmers don't just sit back and expect the crops to jump into their baskets. They go out, gather, and claim what's theirs. This is your season to move like it's already done, not with desperation, but with quiet confidence. That's why I love that ancient scripture. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Stillness here doesn't mean laziness. It's not about checking out of life. It's about moving with the assurance that the battle is over before it began. It's the kind of stillness you see in a lion, unbothered, majestic, and in no rush to prove anything. In fact, modern neuroscience backs this up. When your mind truly believes something is already yours, your brain shifts into a different state. It releases tension, lowers stress hormones, and puts you in a position to actually recognize opportunities you'd otherwise miss. Faith isn't just a spiritual muscle, it's a mental rewiring. It allows you to stop scrambling and start aligning. And the truth is, chosen one, desperate energy repels blessings, but confident expectation draws them in like a magnet. So yes, stop overthinking, stop rehearsing what-ifs, and start acting like it's already done. Your victory has already been declared in the invisible realm. Your only job now is to step into it. This is why you've been through what you've been through. Not to break you, but to train you to walk like someone who already owns the room before they even enter. That's the power you carry now. You've already won. The rest is just the victory lap. So, from this day forward, I want you to walk in this truth. Look at your life not through the lens of struggle, but through the lens of victory, because you, my dear chosen one, are already a winner. Now go live like one.